Christian nationalist. Have you heard this term?
I
Started
have,
about 2
yes.
months ago,
Yes.
And, I'm not picking on Christians. It is the major religion in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you go after the major thing? So, and they've been doing it forever, like you said. Yeah, at least not forever, but definitely since, I would say, man, 60s at least. It seems like the 60s maybe started the whole decay in moral values. But that's a debate for another time too, as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I will say this about the only actual Christian nationalism are people who believe that the United States Constitution should either be replaced or heavily reinterpreted to turn the United States into a their model of a Christian theocracy. That's a Christian nationalist. They're now taking. I recently saw there was a clip from some news piece or whatever, and this has been said over and over, where they're saying if you believe that your rights come from a creator, from God, instead of from the government, then you're a Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then literally every single person behind the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, which started the Continental Congress, and then after that, the Constitution, were all Christian nationalists, even though they literally, some of them were deists and some of them were atheists. Most of them were Christians, but they certainly wouldn't have called themselves Christian nationalists. The classical liberals, the John Locke's and the Adam Smiths, who came up with the concept or first articulated the concept of natural rights, would be considered Christian nationalists. These people would have laughed very, very heartily if they knew that they were being compared to theocrats for saying that your rights are a pre-existing thing that are manifest and axiomatically a result of your existence, not because the government said you got to have them. And it's just absurd.
And that's the danger, and that's why they've gone after it. So, they've gone after it so heavily is because you can't get rid of the Constitution if you have a majority of people believe that they have rights given to them from something greater than a government, whatever that may be. But if you can decay that belief and turn the government into your God, then you can take whatever rights you want away from people because you're the God. And so you've got to replace one God with another. And, with this, like you're talking about with Christian nationalism, now, that just encompasses anything. There's black Christian nationalists too. They're not all black church going folk, just the ones that believe that they have their First and Second Amendment rights. So
people believe they have natural inherent rights, yes, that are inalienable. And whatever insane document they heard that from, it couldn't have been the Declaration of Independence, which makes it very clear. It had to instead have been, their radical pastor who just came out with this out of nowhere. There are actual, I guess, theocrat Christian nationalists. There aren't a lot of them. There aren't a lot. Even a lot of some of the more what they're calling like the extreme right pastors and stuff like that. If you listen to what they have to say, it's not what you would call Christian nationalism. And it's funny because a lot of them are adopting the name because they're like, well, I am a nationalist for America and I am a Christian, so I am technically a Christian nationalist. So yeah, sure, I'm not scared of your boogeyman term, are you? So I get it. I get why they're taking that term and saying, yeah, sure, I'll own this absurd term you decided to label me with. But they're not. They're not. In what? Yeah, exactly. This is what we call ourselves Yankees. Yep. But this is kind of a long-standing thing that Christian nationalism is a desire to replace our republic with a theocracy. That isn't what's being proposed here by the vast majority of people, and it's very disingenuous to try to label them as such.
Well,
but then I get called a Nazi on a regular basis.
My favorite Jewish Nazi over here is,
and there's so many, and that means a lot to me because there are so many Jewish Nazis now. The fact that of the thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of Jewish Nazis out there, that I'm your favorite one, that really means a lot. Thank you.